What's up guys, Quan here, and did you guys like that intro? I actually filmed and edited that last year. Last year as in like January of 2019. Even though the stories I'm going to be telling today are about last year, last month, December 2019 related Disneyland stories. This is a filler video because by the time you're watching this video is going to be uploaded during Genesis weekend, and I'll be very busy with Genesis 7 related projects, and school is starting for me again soon. This is just a raw, like, I'm going to be talking to you, barely any cuts. Maybe I might cut some stuff, but you get the point. This is the story of how I broke my phone and my camera on Splash Mountain. So last month, December 2019, I went to Disneyland 4 times, almost in a row. It was like almost every other day. And you know, I have an annual pass, so I can go almost whenever I want to. And almost every time it was a different group of people. I went on the 11th, 13th, 15th, and the 18th. My phone broke on the 15th, but I'm gonna be talking about all the days. Starting with December 11th, I went with my friend Cedge. He's an ex-Smash Bros commentator. That's where I met him through Smash Bros, but he recently retired. Cedge is actually an annual pass holder as well, and he's super more interested in Disney than I am. I'm only really interested in the theme park. I haven't even seen most of the Disney movies. Him and his girlfriend Kay, they're both Disneyland annual pass holders, and we go to Disneyland often as a group. This time Kay couldn't come, so it was just me and Cedge. Cedge picked me up from my house and we went to Disneyland, and we were hanging out for a little bit, you know, getting on the rides and stuff, the usual stuff. And we also met up a little later with Mr. Danish Buttercookie, the epic Smash YouTuber who also has an annual pass. We got together, we all hung out, got on rides. So Mr. Danish, he's a rides type of person. You know, he likes to get on all the rides in California Adventure, like in Credit Coaster and Guardian, so that's what we did. And then for lunch, we went to Jazz Kitchen to eat. And Mr. Danish and Cedge, those guys are also interested in the food at Disneyland too, trying out different stuff. Me personally, I think food is just too expensive, so I just bring my own food to Disneyland. I bet you didn't know you could do that, by the way. I don't sneak them in or anything. You're allowed to bring your own food and water and drinks inside Disneyland. So I take advantage of that. I'll like bring in my Cheetos or homemade sandwiches, or I'll just bring them all in so I don't have to pay inside the park. But when I'm with Cedge, we'll usually buy food in the park because he prefers to, you know, try things out. And I guess so does Mr. Danish. So we went to Jazz Kitchen and we got this mac and cheese. It was incredibly expensive, by the way, and I was like, but I wanted to hang out with them. I want to try it too, you know. I made an exception with the food when I'm with friends. So we tried the mac and cheese. I split mine with Cedge, so we paid half, and it was much more affordable like that. Mr. Danish got one whole for himself. And then Cedge also got this like ice cream dessert, and it looked amazing. So I got some cool shots with it with my Osmo Pocket, which I was using for the first time. Anyway, I'm looking at my notes, my script for this video, and it says the mac and cheese was $22.95. Oh my god, good thing I split it with Cedge. My wallet. And yeah, that's about it. We got on rides. We tried, you know, some pricier food that I normally wouldn't get. There's not much to that story. I'm only telling it because Mr. Danish was there with us and I could totally use him for the title now as clickbait. Nah, but Mr. Danish is totally the homie. I love hanging out with him. It was a good day. Next day, December 13th, I did not go with Cedge or Mr. Danish. I hung out with my friend Rocky, who is actually a cast member at the park too. So Rocky pretty much lives there. And how did we spend our day? Well, I don't think we got on a single ride. Maybe like one attraction, but yeah, the thing about me and Rocky, rides are cool and stuff, but we're actually a lot more interested in the character stuff at Disneyland. And you're like, wait, what does that mean? I'm talking about like meeting Mickey Mouse and Goofy. We really enjoy that. And if you're like TSM Korea and you're gonna be like, Quan, you know it's just a guy in a costume. What are you gonna do? Just take a picture with him and that's it? What else is there to do? How does that take up your entire day? And I'm like, well, Korean, you see, the thing about meeting characters at Disneyland is that they're very invested in what they do. I mean, it's part of the job at Disneyland specifically. Like, they really have to act their part, never break character, and every motion that they do, it has to be like how the character would. They really need to study the character. So the fun part is when you meet the characters, you get unique and fun character interactions. I'm serious, hear me out. So I remember when I became so like invested in character interactions and meeting characters, it was like It was like near the end of 2018. That's when I started to go to Disneyland regularly. I just spent one day deciding to meet all the characters, and I had fun. But then I really fell in love with doing that when I went to Redwood Creek Challenge and I met Chip and Dale, and they were just so playful and friendly. Like, they were just like messing with my hair, and then, but it was fun. It's not just me, it's like an actual thing. Like, there's lots of fans for meeting characters at Disneyland. In fact, there are people who go try and meet every character at Disneyland. These people are called character hunters because there's actually a lot of Disney characters who are hard to meet. Like, it's like Pokemon, I swear. Like, there's Mickey Mouse and Goofy who are at the front of the park. You can't miss them. But then there's characters like Rabbit from Winnie the Pooh or Clarabelle where they just kind of come out once in a while and you kind of have to get lucky. There's characters like Black Panther and Nick and Judy who are exclusive to Disneyland for the most part, and then so people who go to Disney World would come out to Disneyland just to meet them, and vice versa. And there are some characters that aren't even regulars at any parks. Like, they'll just randomly appear at a random park at any given day. And on that day, when I was with Rocky, we decided to spend the entire day just character hunting because we both enjoyed it a lot. And we ran into a couple of characters that you do not see often. We ran into the Penguin from Mary Poppins. He was just there by himself. We ran into the Country Bears. And we also ran into Pocahontas as well. Pocahontas is not a character that comes out often at Disneyland, specifically. She appears every day in Disney World, though. So for us, meeting all these like rare characters, like 3 characters that you don't see often, that was amazing. And on top of that, we met the regular characters. He really likes Goofy, so we saw Goofy, and I really like Chip and Dale, so we went and saw Chip and Dale as well. And then near the end, at the night, we went to the holiday dance party. We can't dance at all, but we tried our best, and then even more rare characters came out, but we danced terribly, but we danced and we had fun, and I had another amazing day at Disneyland. Ooh, we're on December 15th now. This is when my phone broke and my camera. So on December 15th, 2GG decided to just take us all to Disneyland, just as their way of saying thanks to the team. I'm a regular at Disneyland, you know, I have the pass, right? So they didn't have to pay for my ticket, but they paid for the rest of the teams. And, you know, of course, I love going with, you know, different friends to the park and just showing them around. And on the first 2 days, when I went with Cedge and Danish and Rocky, like, they're all regulars. They're annual pass holders. So with them, it's like, we're just doing the same thing over and over. Like, we've done everything already, right? But in this group, when it comes to these 2GG people like Sid and Nate and Strides, like, they're not regulars. So going with them is a different experience on its own because you're kind of the guide. You get to show them around. And on top of that, you also can't waste time, right? Well, with like 2GG, like, I want them to be able to do everything they can while they're here. These are some expensive ass tickets, right? So it's a real different feeling and it's really fun as well. The night before the 15th, aka the 14th, we got a hotel room near Disneyland. It was like a couple blocks away. And 2GG hosted White Elephant Night, and we all brought a gift, and we had fun, we drank, and it was great. It was a great pre-night before Disneyland. So, Disney Day. Not everyone who was there for White Elephant Night came through. So for the Disney Day, it was me, Champ, Sid, Javi, Nate, and Strides from 2GG. And we also had a couple of friends that we regularly work with that we also invited as well, except they had to pay for their own ticket. So people who are not 2GG that also joined us, it was Cedge and Kay this time as well, and also Korean. Well, Korean was 2GG, but he just switched to TSM recently. So TSM, Korean, but 2G for most of the year. And Vance, and also Nate's girlfriend. Guys, is this background distracting? Should I just set one color? What's a good color I can set it to? I don't like green, no. Purple. I go with this color. So we got into the park, and I think we did Space Mountain first. I don't quite remember. After whatever the first ride was, I suggested that we go to Splash Mountain because Splash Mountain is my favorite ride. Honestly, I love that ride. So we went to Splash Mountain, and that's when my phone broke. At the beginning of the day, second ride, that's when my phone broke. It broke at Splash Mountain, bro. Bro, it broke like at the start of the freaking trip. So I mean, Splash Mountain, it's a water ride. You can guess what happened. My stuff got wet. But details, I was sitting in the front, and you know, I've been on this ride a lot of times because like I said, it's my favorite ride. And I know how like big the waves are, how crazy the water hits you. Usually that is, because on this day, when the second drop that hit me, that splash was so huge. And I mean ginormous, as in like, I've never been hit by a wave that big at Splash Mountain before. Really. I'm telling you the truth. I've been riding that ride for an entire year. That was the biggest splash I ever got hit by. It was like literally just getting hit by a wave at the beach. Like, Vance was sitting behind me and he got hit by the wave like he would if he was usually sitting in the front. And I was sitting in the front this time, so I got demolished. And here's the thing, like, usually when I go to Disneyland, I bring this backpack with me, and this backpack usually keeps water out. And the thing is, on that fateful day, for some reason, instead of bringing that backpack, I actually brought this backpack. And do you see this? You see this? Look at this. Look at this. These are holes. As in, like, the design of this thing, it's definitely not meant to be waterproof. It's like the opposite of waterproof. It's like meant to bring water in. So, imagine I didn't even have a backpack. Imagine I was just holding all my things on that ride. Because that's exactly what happened, really. When I got hit by that second splash, I was so surprised. I was in such shock that I stood up from the ride. I was like, what? What? The first one was fine, but then the second one we landed.
Yeah, the second one was, that one got me.
And it hit me like, oh my goodness, all my stuff, no way. No way. So after the ride ended, I was like, I checked my phone, it was working. But this guy, remember, it hadn't even been a week since I got this thing, so I was like, please, no way, no way. So I turned it on, and then it worked. I was like, yeah, worked. Oh, thank goodness, my phone and my camera's working. So, I'm soaking wet. How's everyone? We didn't make it! Look at that guy, he's broken. Look, he's broken. Oh yeah, he is. There's one more. See that chicken? Look at that chicken.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's broken. So I was thinking, oh, thank goodness, it's working. And then I noticed my camera turned off, and I was like, oh, did I turn it off by accident? So I tried turning it back on again, and it didn't turn on this time. I'm like, no, oh no, come on, you're giving me false hope? No way, no way. And it wouldn't turn on, bro. I was like, no. And then it did turn on. I was like, yo, it turned on, but the video wasn't working. It was just frozen. And then the gimbal started to jitter like this. And I was like, no. So I turned it off, and I gave it a couple minutes, and I tried turning it back on, and this time the display worked, the video worked, but the jitter kept happening. So the video just looked like extremely shaky, which totally defeats the purpose, you know, of having a gimbal, right? Like, this is a gimbal camera. So I was just devastated because I just got the thing and I broke it. It's not even Disneyland's fault, right? Like, it was totally, completely my fault. And I was like, well, I mean, maybe I can send it in for repairment later. I didn't let it get to me, right? I still have a whole day with some of my closest friends at one of my favorite places ever on the earth. I wasn't gonna let that ruin the day, and you know, at least my phone was working. So I not for long though, right? I plugged in my phone to my portable charger, and it was charging. Like, there was nothing wrong with it, but that was a problem. I started charging too early. I thought it was okay, but it wasn't, because a couple hours later I noticed that my phone barely charged at all. And I was like, what? And I tested out the portable charger on Korean's phone, and his thing was working fine. So it had to have been my phone, and it was my phone. And because I couldn't even charge this thing, it died. So I was left without a phone and without a camera. And I'm a junkie for electronics, so that was painful for me. But you know what? I have my whole group of friends with me, right? So you know what? Again, I wasn't gonna let it get to me. Okay, quick side story. I once went to Disneyland with Sean Chiplog and these two older furries who were gonna go to FurCon, and they were going to Disneyland before FurCon. And I never felt so poor in my entire life until that point, because those guys had money, man. They even at one point had a Disneyland premiere pass, If you don't know what that is, it's like the most expensive tier ever. It grants you access to all days at Disneyland and Disney World, and I think as of right now, it's over $2,000. I don't know how much it was when they got it, but the fact that they had that at one point, what? The reason I'm bringing this up is because when I hung out at Disneyland with them, they did something interesting, is that they actually left their phones at their hotel rooms before coming to the park so that they don't get distracted with social media or checking their phones or anything like that. You know, all they have left is just to enjoy Disneyland, enjoy the surroundings, enjoy all the little details that the park has put in to the place, and, you know, socialize with your group. And I was like, you know what? That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna socialize. It's like I put my phone and camera back at the hotel room before I came here. I'm gonna hang out with my friends that I came here with. But then everyone else was on their phones instead, and I'm like, wow, guys, come on. But you know what? The worst already happened. No way the situation can get worse than that. And I still had a whole day with some of my closest friends there. I wasn't gonna let it get to me. I had to keep my chin up and just, you know, still make the most of the day. Because there's still a lot of good things to come out of it. Even if my phone and camera broke, I can still deal with that later. I can still try to get it repaired later. Right here, right now, I was at Disneyland with a bunch of my friends and I was gonna enjoy it. It can't get worse, right? Well, you see these Chippendale ears that I was wearing in this picture? Well, they're not mine. They were actually Sid's. In fact, they were a present to her by one of her family members. I think it was her little brother that gave it to her as a gift. And she let me borrow it for the day because I really like Chippendale. And guess what happened? Just try and guess what happened. Near the end of the day, we went on Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and on these rides, they have little pouches in front of your seat so that your glasses or your hats or your ears don't like fly off during your ride and you lose it. And I was like, well, I can't lose these. These are Sid's. So I put it in the pouch, and we rode on the ride, and it was amazing. And then I was like, yeah, that was awesome, right, Strides? And we left. And we walked away from the ride, and then less than 5 minutes later, I was like, yo, I left the thing there. So I was like, bro, I gotta go pick it up. So me and Strides went back to the Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, and I was like, yo, I left the ears there, and they checked, and they were like, okay, well, you know, we gotta like wait until each cart comes around and check every single one of them. And so we just stood there and we waited for a bit, and they're like, we checked every single one of them, we couldn't find it. And I'm like, what? And then they were like, maybe come back in an hour. So in an hour I came back, and they were like, sorry, we still couldn't find it. Maybe you can file a lost and found report. So after an entire day, I filed a lost and found report. I was like, please, bro, I lost this item. It's from Tokyo. And so it was literally left on the pouch of the ride from this exact time. There's no way you can miss it. But they weren't able to find it. I'm really confident that someone stole it. Whoever rode after me freaking took the thing out and just kept it for themselves, bro. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. Because there's no way you couldn't find that. And, you know, Disneyland, if they found it, I don't see why they wouldn't have given it back to me, because Disneyland, you know, really tries to make their customers happy, because that's part of their whole thing about magic and all that. They couldn't find it. And I lost Sid's Chippendale ears, a sentimental gift from her little brother. And that's what made me feel like shit. Because the camera and phone breaking, you know what, whatever. I mean, that's my own fault, I'll deal with it. But losing someone else's, like, stuff, that was just the absolute worst. I was like, how did this day go like this, bro? What? And you know, Sid knows that obviously, like, I didn't intentionally lose it or anything. So she didn't give me shit for it or anything. She's an awesome friend, awesome person in general, by the way. But I just felt so bad about it. But you know what? After all that, I still tried to make the most of the day, because I didn't want to bring the mood down, you know? Like, Sid understood, right? She understood I'm not trying to intentionally lose her stuff. And the other stuff, I can try and get them repaired. I just try to still enjoy the night. I didn't want it to let it get to me. And that's exactly what we did. We went to the holiday dance party, and I danced by myself because no one else wanted to join me. They were all just watching me. And I felt so awkward, so I stopped dancing. And then Cedge was like, alright, I'll go with you. So it was me and Cedge on the dance floor with Goofy. And then after that, Strides and Sid and Nate and everyone else ended up joining. And then it was lit. Then it was awesome. And we were sweating. It was great. My point is, despite all that, despite everything, that honestly had to be the worst Disneyland trip, right? I literally broke my phone, broke my camera, lost someone else's ears. I still I still had a good time. The enjoyment that I got from being at my favorite place on earth with some of my closest friends, that is something super magical. And I still enjoyed the day. A little bit of a happy ending though. My camera, it started working the next day. It works again. Works again, completely. Thank goodness, bro. I didn't have to send this in anywhere. It works perfectly fine, like it never broke in the first place. My phone, on the other hand, you can see that it's turning on, so it's not completely broken. The only problem is the charging port. This does not work anymore. I cannot charge my phone through a wire. I have to use this now, a wireless charger, which is cool. It's annoying to use this thing, but you know what? I'm just glad that my phone isn't completely thrown away. And as for the ears, they weren't the most expensive thing in the world. They were from Tokyo Disney though, so I went on eBay and just ordered a new one. That's all. It's getting darker outside. Let me raise up the ISO. Alright, last day, December 18, 2019. The story for this one, not as interesting as the one where I freaking break everything and have the worst day of my life, but, you know, still decided to tell it anyway. I went to Disneyland with Cedge and Kay, and we decided to try out the Minnie's Friends and Stuff breakfast. It's a special breakfast where you sit and eat your breakfast, but while that happens, a whole bunch of Disneyland characters comes out and just start bothering you, say hi, and you get to take pictures of them, and that's the point. The food itself wasn't all that great. We decided we wanted to try it out, so we did. And after we were done eating, I was like, all right, how much should I pay you, Cedge? And he was like, nothing. This is your birthday present. I was like, oh, really? He was like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. My birthday is not actually on the 18th. My birthday is on the 23rd, which is 5 days after that day. But it's not like we can go to Disneyland on the 23rd anyway because it's so close to Christmas. So we decided to just call December 18th my Disneyland birthday. And then they got me a birthday pin. And we ran around Disneyland. And everyone kept telling me happy birthday. And I was like, thanks, even though it wasn't really my birthday. It was a little early birthday. But whatever. Yeah, it wasn't really much of that story. That's literally it. I just brought it up because I might as well bring it up. And also because I just want to say thank you, Cedge, for being the homie. You know, he drives me to Disneyland a lot because I don't drive yet, embarrassingly. So he picks me up and we go there, and it's fun. And yeah. Alright, that's about it for the video. I will see you guys next time on my Genesis 7 vlog, probably. Whatever the case, I'll see you guys in the next video.